All right. So, so yeah, Michael. What I said before, as far as like what you're passionate about, either teach them, tell them a story, or show it to them. That's one way to do it. So if you're like, oh well, what do I have? So absolutely do that, and maybe on your own time, develop those, and I could tell you more about how. But if you want some quick ones for today, is one of my favorite ones. These are my favorite ones. These are old school, but they work like magic. One is eye accessing cues. Essentially, what this is, it comes from a psychology thing that says that the hold on a second. Let me just plug this in. Where's the thing? Okay, excellent. Yeah. So it comes from a psychology thing that says the direction in which your eyes flutter indicate your thinking style because you're activating a portion of your brain. So if I'm asking you a question, like when you're talking to people and you ask them, oh, so what's your favorite place to travel? Or like, what is your dream? And they start going like this, like, what would I like to have? What type of ice cream would I like to have? What would be my favorite place to travel? They are accessing the visual part of their head. So if they look up, they're accessing the visual part. If they look to the side, they're like that. That means they're accessing the auditory part of the brain, which means they think or learn by listening. I'm gonna break it down in a second. And if they look down, they're like, that means they're getting their body. They learn and experience the world through feeling. So this is the way it looks like. So if I were to go, if we're talking, and by the way too, they don't actually have to do this because they're not looking at their own eyes. All right, peep this out. So if I'm talking to you, right, and I'm like, I'm midway through conversation, I'm just gonna go. If I notice you're like, oh, so where you from? What beach club are you going to? I would go, wait, by the way, I know it's real random, but are you a visual thinker? No, the setup. The reason why I ask is because like, I love psychology, and there's this thing that says that the way that your eyes look when you're thinking says how you experience the world. And so people that look up tend to be very visual, like they're looking at pictures. People that look to the side, they experience the world through sounds and they can hear things. And people that look down, they feel in their body their memories. And I know that you look up. Are you a visual thinker?
That was a good question. Oh.
Or no, I don't. Well, are you a visual thinker? I don't think you are. I think you're more kinesthetic in your body. Yeah. You try to feel it. You try to feel the answer, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
See, it works. But look at your reaction, because you were like, and I saw you look down, and I was like, so even if you're wrong, it doesn't matter because they're gonna be like, or you're like, oh no, wait, you feel the answer, don't you? Feeling, and that's a display of excellence. This guy reads me. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
We can return back to this before we go to the pool. I want to get to flirting,
Yeah.
but I can break these down in more detail. This is just the 5 questions game. And it works like this. As it goes, as they're talking, you go, by the way, you just remind me of something. You ever heard of the 5 questions game? I just played that at the pool party. Let me show you really fast. As simply, I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and you have to lie in each every one. And my job is to get you to tell the truth. Because I bet you I can tell the truth. Or another setup could be, I feel like, are you good at keeping a straight face? Because I'm really good at telling when people are lying. That's my special skill. Like here, let me show you really fast. So the way it works is, you ask someone. So for example, you're like, all right, if I say, what state are we in? You would say, so lie on purpose.
Oh, on purpose.
Arizona.
There you go. It's my job to try to get you to tell the truth. So if I say, what color is the sky? You would say,
Green.
all right, so you get it. So all right, so game on. Ready? Um, what color is my shirt?
Red.
All right, all right. Um, what is the name of the country we're in?
Europe.
Okay. Europe is a continent, but all right. But anyway, okay. All right. What color is this marker?
Green.
Green. Okay. Okay. Wait. How many is that so far? How many questions is that so far? Lost track.
2.
No? Okay. Have you played this game before?
No.
Got you to tell the truth.
Oh.
So the way that it works, you ask them a dumb question, dumb question, dumb question. That's obvious. Then you play dumb, and you're like, wait, how many is that again? And people tell you, oh, no, that's only 3. Got you. And if you don't get them there, you'd be like, oh, you're good. Have you played this before? You're like, nah, got you.
Very good.
So that's actually real fun to play it. So this is a fun thing to do at a pool party. So you could be like, oh my God, that reminds me, I just finished this like this awesome game with somebody right here. Like I can make anybody tell the truth. Right? I'm super good at making anybody tell the truth. So we can replay this one. It seems like the most fun. Do we need to get into the ring routine?
Yeah, that's a winner right there.
All right, it is a winner. So if you see a woman wearing a ring, it's simple. The setup is, I'll write the setup. Actually, no, you guys can write it down. But the ring, it's like, do you always wear, like, by the way, do you always wear the ring on that finger? Setup.
Thumb independent.
I'm going to explain in a second. Yeah, do you always wear the ring on that finger? Because actually there's something, I do it from psychology, not the Greek gods. But you can do it Greek gods. I'll do this.
What's the Greek god?
Poseidon, I believe it's Zeus, Dionysus, what's his name? Aphrodite, Aphrodite, and this is Aries. So, I like to do the psychology because it's really synonymous with me, but I'll do it both. So it works like this, where you go, hey, do you always wear that? By the way, like if I want to inject the fun, by the way, and this even works if they're not wearing, I forget what it means if they wear no rings. But anyway, if you have a ring and you go, by the way, do you always wear a ring on that finger? Yeah, no, because like I love psychology and they say that the finger that you wear your ring on actually says something about your personality because we put our rings there without thinking about it. But it's actually talks about personality. Like for example, right, people who have a ring on their thumb are really more independent because the thumb is not actually technically a finger. All right, or people that wear on their first finger are actually more leader, dominant qualities because that's the finger that you point with. People who wear it in the middle finger, these are the rebels because that's the one you give your middle finger to. People who wear on their ring finger are very much driven by their emotions. They're more lovers. And people who wear on their pinky ring have an inner conflict going on within them that they don't tell anybody about. Because that's the ring that like mob bosses and stuff wear. That's one version. The second version has to do with the Greek gods. You say, oh, because back in the day, like with the Greeks, I'm a little bit of a history nerd, but back in the day, they used to wear a ring to represent which god they worship. That was very close to them. So anyone who wore on the thumb, they really worship Poseidon, and these people are independent because Poseidon was the only god who didn't live in Mount Olympus. He lived in the ocean. Anyone who wore on the first finger was dominant, and they worshiped Zeus because he was the father of all the gods. Anyone who in the middle worshiped Dionysus because he was the god of party, drink, and wine. So these people like to have fun. Third lover, Aphrodite, the goddess of love. The pinky, Aries, the god of war. So, again, this I think is easier, just based off psychology. You would have to like learn the names, the history, but this is easier. Does this make sense? All right, so the way that it works, again, so I want to get into flirting.
Hey, Pablo, quick question. With all those routines, would you say that demonstrating value is being able to tell them stories through interesting facts? I mean,
It's one of the ways. It's one of the ways. I mean, if you like expert level, if you can incorporate everything you do in a story,
right.
That's expert level. So what do I mean by that? So, for example, let's say for instance, let's say for instance, I do magic. So say hypothetically, I want to teach a woman a magic trick, right? So so option one, right, I can do the magic trick. Option two, I can say, here, let me just teach you a magic trick. Option three, I can tell you a story about how a magic trick, but I'm talking about S class is to turn the whole thing into an interactive story where it's like, oh, you ever done magic, bro? You want to learn how to make a pen disappear? Okay, yeah, no, actually, no, it works like this. It goes because like, yeah, no, I remember being 12 years old and being fascinated with magic because it just made me feel like it was superpowers. And then I remember just practicing like this one thing. There was this one trick that my aunt, when I did it, she thought it was like the work of demons and spirits. Like, matter of fact, here, let me show you. It goes like this. So if you go like this, boom, boom, like that, boom, boom, and that's cool, right? And that's why I love magic. And so you see how that more powerful that is, where I'm teaching, but it's in the context of a story. So that brings you into the story, it makes you feel a part of it, and you got back because I learned something. So you see what I mean? That is S class. That is like perfection master level. The other ways work great because the average guy sucks. All right? Simple as that. Because the average guy sucks, this is gonna work fantastic. But as you develop and you wanna be masterful, like some of the best speakers in the world do this, where they're telling you a story and then they'll be like, okay, everybody, real fast, let's try it really fast. Boom, 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 do this. And then they come back to the story and that, right? And if you want, and do little things like as you're telling the story, it's like, here, let me show you real quick. Boom, 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 boom. Like that looked good, right? It was crazy. Yeah, I involved him now. So now instead of, like, you see how now it elevates those little things where now I involve like him, like, oh, you see, it works great. Like there's one, I could see, like, I'll teach you one magic trick. But anyway, okay, no, anyway. Anyway, yeah, so I involve him and be like, that's cool, right? It was awesome, right? Yeah, and so anyway, boom, boom, boom. I involved everyone and now master level. Now you're holding court. Now you got everybody's attention in such a captivating way. Make sense? So, simply said, once you feel the conversation going flat, it might go for you. Be intentional. The minute you feel it, immediately go, by the way, and set up whatever you want to do and throw that in there and watch how it picks back up. Any questions?
Okay, so that reminds me more like a memory that you bring in coming from, and by the way, is more like present or.
No, there's the same shit, just different ways of saying it. Just different. You go, by the way, or go, that's what reminds me. Because we can go on like, oh shit, now that we're speaking about it, that reminds me. Anybody saw the last Black Panther movie? Like, you saw it, right? And so, I just transitioned. Nobody's gonna question and be like, well, what does that have to do? If you want, like, hey, if you want to tell a story about anime and you're just talking about dogs, well, what do I have to do with dogs? Nobody does that. The way language works and psychology works, no one stops and be like, hold up, well, like, we were just talking about getting women. And I just went, that reminds me, have anyone ever seen the new Black Panther movie? What the fuck does that have to do with talking to women? So, but nobody's gonna question it. Never in my life has anyone been, that has nothing to do with anything. And even on the off chance, you just be like, I don't know why, it just reminded me of it. No one's gonna question you about it.
No one really cares. They just.
And this is the secret to controlling and directing the conversations. Otherwise, you let her control it, you just let fate control it, and it just stays flat. Right. This is one of the main reasons why guys can't consistently get to a certain point in the interaction, because they don't intentionally direct it. They don't intentionally push it in the direction they want. Like, if I want you to feel something, if I want to flirt, even if I want to flirt, I'll be like, by the way, you always wear your hair like that? I like it. Boom, I intentionally moved in and flirted. Instead of saying shit and hoping she gets the hint, we're gonna be active and be like, by the way, yeah, I gotta say, just 2 seconds. Your glasses, they fit your face. It's cute, like that. You might see Michael's blushing. Michael doesn't know what to do. All right, but that's me intentionally moving it. You see what I mean? So this is your magic phrase. When you're like, well, where do I want to take it? That reminds me, and then set up your whatever you want to say, or say what you want to say. Make sense? All right, so let's get into flirting.
That's like a bad thing, or just something that.
What? What's an advanced thing?
No, I'm saying like the by the way of that. That's just basic conversation 101 right there.
Yeah. By the one, yeah. If it, like this is how you control it like a ship. What do I want to take? Do I want to take it to a sexual place? By the way, that reminds me. Have you seen the movie 50 Shades of Grey? Now we're in a sexual place. If I want to take it in a fun place. By the way, you ever like cartoons? Now I'm taking it to a fun place. If I want to take it to a connecting place, a deep place, I'm like, by the way, have you ever had a moment where you just felt like safe?
Oh, they get them to fit. Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Got it. Okay.
Fuck with me.
Oh my god.
Fuck with me. All right. I'm trying to put you guys on. Like you see, this is how you become Neo, and the world becomes your playground. You see how the world can become your playground, and you do what you want. Okay, so flirting. Let's get into flirting, which is so this part. Let's get into flirting. This is what we're gonna do all day. We're just gonna flirt all day. I actually like, if you want to work on display of excellence, feel free, right? I know, but for the purposes of time and our intention here, I would say start the conversation and go into flirting as soon as possible. Because by the way, you can do that. Not to get too crazy about it, but it's a little bit advanced. But fuck it. We're just here to practice flirting today. So you can open, get to the hook point, and go straight into flirting. All right? So when you get back home, you work on your display of excellence. But the purposes of today is flirting. So open, hook point, go straight into flirting. All right. So let's get into flirting. So guys, I want to start off with the following quote.
I got a question. So, the whole point could be like, I'm sorry, question could be easier. I mean, questions like, I think question might seem easier for me to do. So that's.
To hit the hook point.
Yeah, it's like something I'm interested in. Like, say I see the table and then I'm interested in because this, and then I'll ask a question based off of that.
Yes.
Oh, like, okay. Like, oh, I see a dress. I'm interested because of the color, and my joke would be, wish I would very much wear that dress or something like that. I actually did that last night.
Boom. There you go.
And she laughed.
So, there you go. That's exactly it. So, I want to start off flirting with this quote by Robert Greene from The Art of Seduction. He says, "What people lack in life is not more reality, but illusion, fantasy, and play." In a nutshell, like I said before, and I told you guys, I did it with both of you guys. The average person is looking for fun. You see the way they stand, they're like this. Especially when we go to like beach clubs and stuff, they are looking for fun. They're not looking for more reality, they're looking to escape. And play, illusion, and fantasy is their method of escape. And we deal that. We're those drug dealers. We deal fun. We deal fantasy. We deal play. People want to escape their average lives. And they want to escape to a world of fantasy and play. Flirting, in a nutshell, if I had to define flirting, this is how I want you guys to understand flirting. Flirting is not I am grateful for this thing because it is the easel, but I'm grateful for the easel because I have something to hold this up. I appreciate it's only happened a few times. And I want to say about 80% of the time it stood up. So
the easel is the thing that stands up.
Yes, this is the easel. Okay, so. Ay, Dios mío. Prop what? The easel?
Yeah, that way it'll hold the paper on the top.
Prop it against the wall?
Yeah.
You want to do it? To see? Show me what you mean. part of it is also this thing that I have to fucking go like that.
There you go.
All right. So, flirting is not smooth lines, confidence. Hey baby, you sexy. That's not flirting.
What is that?
Huh?
What is that?
What is what?
Like, what is that considered? It's like low level.
It's
To get.
no, it's shit we've been peddled by TV and movies. It is false. It is not the real definition. False definition. Right?
It's almost like they're trying to take value from the person instead of actually giving it to them.
Oh no, this is more just what we think, not really what it is. All right. I mean, people say smooth line because we think this is what it is. So this comes from a false belief of what we think it is. So people be like, hey baby, yo baby. They think that's flirting, and the reason why we do that because that's like what we think it should be. All right. Whereas what flirting really is. Where flirting really is that's all it is. Or, in other words, the art of play. Because flirting, one great definition that I heard that I love is flirting is how adults play. Because if you think about it, what is the way that, for example, kids play? They do make believe. They put dolls on makeup. They play cards. That's the way kids play. But how do adults play? We don't think about that. That's why especially guys suck at flirting, because as adults we don't think of play. And if we do think of play, we think of like, I have to escape to Vegas to play. I have to do like, no. How do you play? If we're here, how do you play? And flirting is how adults play. You get it?
Yeah.
So what I want you to understand, right, is so with that said, when you're communicating with people, the mistake that a lot of guys make, I want to go and seduce her. I want to go and do this. Like, no, it's the way adults play. I want someone to play with. I just want to play. And with that, it's like, oh, you're pretty. I want to play. Let's go play. You see the thought process? I'm not trying to seduce you. Like I said, it's the way that adults play. Like if I'm like, Lance, let's put your hand down, or put your thing down. And I'm like, Lance, let's play. Throw it back. Let's play. There you go. Now, it's the same thing with women. You're going up here, I'm like, hey, let's play. That's flirting. I'm going to throw a funny comment to you. Do you throw it back? Okay. Oh, you threw one back to me, I'm going to throw it back to you. Throw it back to me. So it's like, so the way it looks like it's, hey, you're a little bit annoying. I can't hang out with you. Throw it back to me. Well, I don't want to hang out with you. Oh, no, we're going to fight a lot. Throw it back. Oh, well, are you sure? Like, nah, you're going to tear me apart. And that's all it is. Now, here's the other thing, too. The difference between men and women, guys flirt as a way to get somewhere. Right? Guys flirt as a way to get somewhere. That's a mistake. Right? They go like this. Play. Give me your number now. Like, I did that. Can't have your number now. Women, they do it back and forth just for the sake of it. Just for the experience of fun. Okay? And so first I want to have you guys understand that concept. Flirting is just how adults play. And your mission is to play with everybody. Which means not only women, but also guys. Also the old lady down the street. And what I mean by that is that that the playing consists of banter, teasing, role play. I'm gonna write that down. Huh?
Brownie and you remember it was about before we got ice cream, and there was two people, two sets of people sitting down. One was a lady by herself, and she was eating cookies and brownies.
Yeah.
Is that? And then another couple was eating ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh wow, you just get ice cream for yourself and everybody else. Like, what you doing? Like, what's going on? And then she started laughing and everything. And even the guy started laughing. Like that was being playful.
There you go. Starting to click.
Oh, oh okay.
Mm. That's what adult play that's playing consists of. Already, you know?
What does it say? Playful
Touching.
touching.
Yeah. Talking about sexual topics, sexual innuendos. That's what it consists of. So when you think about it like that, like what is flirting? It's adult play. It's the way adults play. All right, and that's what again I want to reiterate that it's the way that adults play. So like, how do we play? This is how we play. Any light bulbs ringing?
Talking about
And so yeah, talking about sexual topics, sexual innuendos. So teasing, joke, play fights, role play. Role plays like pretend like, oh, me and you are the Queen of England. Let's act like we own the place. Playful touching, like stop, like or stop, like that. Talking about sexual topics. I'm gonna get into that in a second. Sexual innuendos, saying like, Lance, oh, you a freak, huh? Or you would like that, wouldn't you? Like that. It's a way that adults play. And so when you think like that, and here's the funny part too. How often do you play in your everyday life? Are you playful in your everyday life? That's why life is boring. But if you just do this on an everyday basis with everybody that you talk to, number one, now life becomes fun everywhere you go. Number two, you see how people respond to you when you're being playful. Everybody wants to be around the playful guy. Michael, you saw it last night when we went to click at the end. Like, to the outside world, oh, he's not running game. He's being smooth. I was running game, being playful. How many times were like, I don't know if Michael saw my conversation. How often did you see smiles?
a lot.
Frequent. How often do you see laughter?
A lot.
And comedy. They say that you can measure like the great comedians by their laugh rate. So they're like laughs per minute or something like that. The really great comedians have a really good laugh per minute rate. Those who are not, their laugh per minute rate is pretty low. And so in conversations, right, let's just say like this, Lance, yesterday, your conversations earlier in the day, compared to the pool party, which one had more laughter?
Okay.
Higher laugh rate because you were being more playful, because you took part in adult play. So that's why I say, guys, flirting is an art. Flirt is how adults play. And be the guy, hey, I'm playing with you. Be the guy, I want to play with everybody. That's the attitude. I want to play with everybody. Now, obviously with guys, you're going to do it differently. You're not obviously going to touch them and shit like that. But for the most, like, that's the attitude. So when we go out to the pool party, I want to play with everybody. All right, the person that's going to give us our stamp, hey, oh, you do that with authority. All right, you almost, oh, ow, you broke my hand. You almost broke my hand. You need to be gentle with me. I'm playing. You see how that works out? All right, so does this make sense? Like, did I drive this home?
Yeah.
All right, so then next, I want to give, So the next things about flirting that I want to talk about is, now as far as like adult play, it consists of two factors. Consists of two factors. And I'll tell you how this plays out in a second. Factors. One, intent. Two, playful. So what I mean by that, and actually, you know what? Disregard this. Because I have something else that's going to explain this better. So disregard this. Okay, so here's one thing. So when it comes to flirting in general, guys fall into one or two categories. All right? If you constantly get the, hey, let's be friends, or maybe they're not like jumping your bones, it's because you fall in the category of being the friend. Meaning, what it does is mean you overanalyze. You're afraid to shoot your shot. You're not direct in what you say, so you hold it back. You say safe things because you don't want to offend her or go away. That turns you into the friend. On the other end, we have guys that just have no calibration. And she'll be like, yo, your ass is fat. Oh my. Right? That guy has no calibration and be like, come home with me right now. That guy has no, like, yo, I don't, like, you're a creep. Right? And so the key is to finding the two. Now, depending on where you're at, there's an antidote. So if you're the first guy that's a friend, what's missing from your repertoire is a little bit of being bold, of being direct, of showing your intention, like flirting on purpose. If you're on the other end, what's missing from your repertoire, it is not being so eager, taking time to actually, let me balance that with listening. Let me balance it with listening, with easing up off the brake a little bit. And so if you, so pretty much like, I want to address that because I feel like a lot of guys, at least here in the room, we run into the thing like, oh, I just can't generate anything, or I'm just seen as nice. Well, it's because the reason why is because you're overanalyzing, you're playing it safe. When flirting, we have to be intentional. We have to do it on purpose. I'm not flirting and being like, you're such a troublemaker, and I'd be like, yo, you're a weirdo. I like it. I'm scared, but I'm digging it. Like there's a little bit, I'm intentional about it. All right, I'm not playing safe and being like, haha, that was a little weird. There's a difference. All right, so with that said, how to flirt. Now let's get into the how to. Two ways to flirt, verbally and non-verbally. So first, let me do it like this. Yeah. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay. There we go. So there are two ways to flirt, verbally and non-verbally. So before I introduce it, I want to introduce this format. So typically, conversations work like this, right? So go how to flirt. So typically, conversations go like this. I'm gonna put her. She says something. Boop 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 boop. Like for example, I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher. What normal guys do, oh, that's awesome. Do you like it? Do you like it? That is average response. What we are doing, when you want to turn on the flirting, I'm starting to have playful responses. Okay? So, I'm a teacher. So you could say, let's see here. Are you a mean teacher or nice one? Be honest. All right. Playful response. So essentially, when it's time to turn on the flirting, almost every other response will be a playful one. I'm going to begin playing with you. Remember this is how adults play? I'm going to begin playing with you. And essentially, you're going to switch up your response. So whatever you say, like here's an example. Let's go with, Andrew, why not? All right. Let's just have a conversation. I'm gonna do it two ways. So first, so Andrew, where are you from?
Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia. Oh, that's awesome. How is it around this time of year?
It gets quite hot.
Quite hot. Oh, that's interesting because I'm thinking like Canada, you know, like it's cold year round, but I guess like hot where you wear shorts.
Yeah.
Average response. Now, this is the way my mind think. Everything he says, I'm gonna respond playfully. So again, so Andrew, where are you from?
Nova Scotia.
Is that really where you're from? You look like you're from Jamaica. Because people have been lying to me all day. Are you from Jamaica?
Yes, I am.
You are from Jamaica?
Yeah.
All right, so my question is, what does bumbleclop mean? I'm testing it.
Not sure.
Not sure? Got you. They kicked you out of the country, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, so you're one of those reject Jamaicans, huh?
Yeah.
And so, but you see the difference in response? Every time he says something, respond playfully. So the question that I ask myself, so essentially is this. Whatever they say, how can I respond playfully? And we're gonna practice this, guys. Now the key to this is this, right? It's not about being creative. It's about having fun for yourself. What's fun for me to say? Because what's gonna happen is that they're gonna pick up on your fun. That's how you generate with somebody else. You have fun first and like, oh, he had fun saying that. Because everything I was saying was to make myself laugh. And I'm not waiting, I'm not saying like, oh, so you're a reject Jamaican, huh? I'm not waiting for his approval. I said it for myself. You say it and keep going. So that's the key. So I put a little thing. It's just say it and keep going. Throw and go. Throw and go. And amuse yourself. Does that make sense? So she could say, I'm a teacher. She could say, simple. Like, well, hey, what beach club did you go to? Right? I went to a secret one. It's called a supermarket. You know about that one? But look at the reaction. Like, and guys, allow me to reiterate. Right? Allow me to reiterate. Notice your reaction. Obviously, you guys know I'm practicing. I'm not really gaming you guys yet. Look at your reaction. It's natural. And so these principles trigger human psychology. All right? So, again, it was a playful response. Instead of actually giving you the answer, or if she's like, so instead of actually giving you the answer, I'm giving you a playful one. Because the art of play. They may not give you a real answer. I'm not playing anymore. All right? So even if you ask me, so what do you do for work? So I'm a hand model. You may have seen some of my work in like the Neutrogena commercials, right? Or there was this one time, one thing I said, one time I was in a bar and it was like, I met one woman and I was like, oh yeah, so I actually fix stoplights. So you see when they work like fix stoplights? And she's like, really? I'm like, no! How do you believe me? And then she introduced me to her friends and her friends like, what do you do? And I go, I'm a dancer. She's like, well, what kind of dancer? And I'm like, you know what kind of dancer. And then she was like, oh, I'm like, I'm just kidding. I'm playful. So all your responses are playful. So make that a habit in your life with everybody. Because it's a way to play and enjoy yourself. You get what I'm saying? Is this thing still running? All right. So.
Real quick, Pablo, something I'm noticing with your style of comedy, which I absolutely love, I can relate to it, is that you're setting it up, whether they ask you or whether you're setting it up for yourself. You set it up and then hit it left field, and that's what makes it funny.
That is comedy 101, the unpredictability. So, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into that to confuse it, but yeah. But I'm going to give you different ways to flirt, by the way, because I have my personal style that works with my personality. I'm going to give everybody a style in a second. But now, to keep it, essentially is this. You know how I gave you a template for the compliment? There's a template for flirting. And it's called making you statements. Okay? I'll explain in a second. So, you statements. you statements. You statements are pretty much sentences that make them the focus. You are, must be, look like, blank. The word you, one, it shows intent. It shows I'm not being timid about coming at you. I'm coming at you. So that shows, that's sexy because that's the masculine. It's like, oh, he's pursuing, like he's initiating. Second thing is when you say the word you pay attention. I'm personalizing it. If I said stuff like, yeah, no, so Japan is fantastic and a lot of people should go there versus you got to go to Japan. Have you ever been, you haven't been to Japan? I can't talk to you anymore. That now the flirting's kicked to the next level. All right? So a lot of the so one thing like, so if you heard me with Andrew, right? Right? Oh, I'm from Nova Scotia. are you really from Nova Scotia or are you messing with me? And he goes, I'm messing with you. Like, you are from Jamaica, aren't you? And then he goes, yes. And I'm gonna go, okay, what's bumbleclot mean? Boo boo. And I go, you don't know. You are one of the reject Jamaicans. They kicked you out. Instead of like, oh no, all Jamaicans know what that means, versus you don't know what that means. You see the difference? And so, as best as possible, you want to use statements. So, so as far as being playful, this is a very powerful thing to do.
You are.
Like you are, you must be, you look like. All right? Does this make sense? So, you, or rather, you can go you plus playful response. You plus playful response. Now, I'm going to give you, like I said, everybody's flirting style is different. What makes things powerful, and sometimes where people mess up is they try to flirt like other people. Some guys, it works for them to be like direct and be like, yo, you're so gorgeous. It works with them, with their personality, their aura. With other guys, for example, like Neil, who is different, like he's different. He has a smaller frame and stuff. His is more of like sassy, indirect stuff. Okay, so here are the different types of responses you can use. Now, I put together a PDF, and if you want, just remind me, I can send it to you. You guys should have it, but it's pretty much 13 different ways to flirt with women. But I'll give you some of the most popular and effective ones. I'll give you an example. You can choose how to use them. So, like I said, it's you plus playful response. Now, here are the different types of responses. Types of responses. First one, sarcasm or sarcastic response. So what does it look like? Where are you from? Right, where are you from? Nova Scotia. Or you could be like, oh no way, I was actually gonna say you look Italian. You can tell by my face, obviously, like that, right? Or if they ask me like, oh, how old are you? I'm 84, but I look good for my age. Sarcasm. Everything you say, sarcastic response. And for anyone who wants to know how to be sarcastic, your words are saying one thing, but your expression and your tone of voice is saying another. So, for example, if she could be like, do I look good in this? And you could be like, do I look good in, like, not, I don't want to look good at this, but if she's like, this is my best friend. Hey, new friend, like, this is my new friend. This is my best friend. And you could be like, yeah, I mean, even though we met 5 minutes ago, I'm like, my best friend, like, yeah, no, we've actually been friends since preschool. We've seen each other in our little tidy whities. Sarcasm. Right? Or
Would you say that Ryan Reynolds is the expert in that or the master in that?
Ryan Reynolds.
So you don't have to be smiling to be saying, because what's his name? Ryan?
Ryan Reynolds.
Deadpool, he doesn't smile when he
Well, I'm gonna get into nonverbals in a second, but with sarcasm, again, your tone of voice has to be different. So if you're like, oh yeah, I love pineapples. Obviously you don't. Or like the example before. So like, what do you do for work? I'm a male dancer for senior citizens. So obviously, like my face looks serious, but what I'm saying is like, that can't be true. It's too outrageous. So that's what sarcasm looks like. All right. So if you want to start him, Ryan Reynolds is amazing. You can Google Ryan Reynolds. He's fantastic. All right. Next one. That's a type of response. So again, he goes, "Oh, I'm from Nova Scotia," and I could be like, "Oh no, really, me too." I'm being sarcastic. Okay. Another type of response. I call it the role reversal. Side note, timing is very important as well, right? Let's not try to force, I'll explain more in a second, but this is what I mean. So the role reversal response, right? I would be like, the role reversal is essentially when you flip the roles as if they're chasing you. So an example of this would be like when I was in LA, a woman was trying, she was calling me like, hey, Red Velvet, trying to get my attention. You know the story. Red Velvet. And I was like, hey, I'm not a piece of meat. Don't yell at me like that. I'm a human, right? And so like you're reversing the roles like she's chasing you. So if she does something that could be considered a come on, right? So if she's like, you have nice eyes, and you'd be like, it's not gonna get you into bed with me. Thank you, but it's not gonna get you into bed, right? Or let's say with Andrew's case, it'd be like, oh, like it's kind of hard like for Andrew's as far as like a role reversal. He didn't say anything that would be a come on, right? Or actually no, I could be like this. I would be like, if he goes, you're from Jamaica, and he's like, no, actually I am. And I was like, you're flirting with me, aren't you? Stop. Where are you really from? Stop flirting with me. So that's a role reversal response. Next is the breakup, where essentially you pick something she says and use it as a reason to break up with her. So essentially, you're from Jamaica, and you go, yeah, I am. I'm like, you just lied to me. In our first relationship, you're a liar. I can't be with you. I don't want to talk to you. Right? Or I said, we're breaking. You just gotta be exaggerated. Like that's it. We're breaking up. Like you said, you like dogs. We're breaking up. I can't do this. Or like, you're from Canada. Nah, we gotta break up right now. Before this even gets serious, let's break up. And you just play it up. Like, listen, I want my CDs back. Okay, I'm gonna keep the puppy. Let's just end it right now because I can't deal with people, or we're not friends anymore. Like I was starting to like you, but we're not friends anymore. So pick something they say, and then that. Next is teasing. Like I told Andrew, oh, you're one of those reject Jamaicans, huh? So teasing, that's another type of response. Another one that I have here, it is the playful assumption. Playful assumption. So, like I said with Andrew, the playful assumption is when you assume something about them that's obviously wrong. So when you go like, oh, where are you from? Let me guess, Jamaica. Obviously wrong. I go with Lance, where are you from? Wait, you're like, you look like you're from, what's it called? You look like you're from Greenland. Exactly, just so obviously wrong, but it's fun, okay? So instead of asking them a question, just playfully assume something about them. Another thing is a joke, obviously. You do a joke, you're a teacher. Oh, well, you know what they say about teachers? What? I don't know. I was hoping you tell me. Again, a joke. Lastly, this comes from old school playground getting at people, teasing. Where you go up to, where as your teacher goes, you go, you know, a second, you look like a middle school art teacher. Right? Like when you say that, you look like a middle school art teacher. The more like specific, the most random, the better. I could say, Doug looks like a pastor that smuggles money, that embezzles money to his mistress. Right? We see how like random and special. So the key to that one is you look like adjective noun. He looks like a shady pastor that embezzles money. that's another way. It's a type of playful response.
Hey, better to be a shady pastor than a shitty pastor, right?
A shitty pastor, yeah. All right. So does this make sense for us type of responses? So at different points in the conversation, when you want to turn, now here's the thing. You don't want to just make every response boom, 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 boom. Because now, the thing about the laugh rate is that, imagine, if you've seen comedy shows, right? The whole comedy show is not like, ha 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 for an hour. It's ha 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 ha, okay, chill, chill, ha 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 ha, chill, chill, ha ha ha. That's the same way you want conversation. So she says, you say something, boom, you pepper it in. Okay, it comes out, pepper it in. That's the idea. I want to pepper it in. Does that make sense?
Like every other.
Yes. Which does this. Ready? So, average guys, they do this. They don't do anything and they stay down here. Guys who try too hard, these are the safe guys. These are the guys who don't take a shot. The guys who are doing too much or try to be a clown, they go up here and then they stay up here. But like I just said, when you're peppering in, you create this effect. Ha 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 ha, ooh, ha 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 ha, ooh, ha 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 ooh. And what does this look like?
Oscillating.
No, I was going to say oscillating, but I was going to say a roller coaster. There you go. And roller coasters give us that rush. This up and down motion was create the rush. When we create rush, we're addicted to something. We love things that give us a rush, and that's fun. All right, this is what fun looks like. And even if you think about it, let's talk about sex, right? Sex. If you're just high all the time like this, it's too much. Then we slow down to enjoy it, pick it back up. So yeah. So the idea with flirting is that you're gonna pepper in playful responses. Okay? Pepper in playful responses. Mike, you saw me talk to people. I'm doing it like nearly immediately. Right? I'm immediately. So, and the response with everybody, like that's hook them quick, and I'm moving into flirting like within 30 seconds, stuff like that. Now, here's the thing. Here's the other thing. Actually, let me get into the nonverbals. Maybe I'll say this first. So here's the thing. You're throwing these out, peppering them in. Now, in a second, I'm about to talk about the signs that it's working, that she's into you, right? But just like anything else, like I said, it's the art of play. Not everybody wants to play with you, right? Like, you go to the court, hey, do you want to play basketball? Not everybody's going to play you. The name of the game is not to get everybody to play with you. That's some ego bullshit. The guys that try to sell you on that, it honestly comes from ego. While this is psychology, and you can get to the point where you can do that, but I feel for me, again, like I want people who genuinely want to jump my bones, who want to play with me. And so my mentality is, I'm looking for people that want to play with me. So when I pepper these things out, is my way of saying, hey, do you want to play? Do you want to play? And if they throw it back to me, then I'm like, okay, you're a fun sparring partner. You're a person to play with. Now, if I throw a couple out and I'm not getting anything back, cool, you don't want to play. That's okay. Have a nice day. I'm going to go talk to somebody else. Okay? So let's get to nonverbals. Nonverbal ways of flirting. These are ways you need to combine them with. Michael, I think maybe you need to include some of these. So first is deep eye contact. This is what I mean by that. Rather unflinching, deep/unflinching, but not creepy. Unflinching eye contact. Here's an example of what I mean. Ready, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to have a conversation. I'm not going to do any of the playful response, but I'm just going to do eye contact. I'm going to do 2 different ways. And you just let me know your reaction. So first, so Michael, where are you from and everything?
I'm from LA.
Oh, that's fantastic. I've actually been to LA before. Where in LA are you from?
From the 66.
Ah, yeah. Okay, excellent. That's way number 1. Way number 2. So Michael, where are you from?
From LA.
You're LA. Are you feeling nervous now?
Bit.
A bit. It's okay. You're safe with me. You ain't got to worry about it. What did you notice between the eye contacts?
It just switched to being like safe.
Yeah. And also when I said, well, you're safe with me. Again, the reaction. So So when you're eye contact, again, we want to be intentional. So since a lot of communication is nonverbal, you want to communicate with your eyes that I'm honestly flirting with you. So so if I say, oh, you must be one of those reject Jamaicans, versus, you're one of those reject Jamaicans, I'm throwing it with my eyes. He's giving me the flirty eyes. You see the difference? Because if you go, oh, you must be one of those reject Jamaicans, doesn't show confidence. But if I go, oh, you're one of those reject Jamaicans, oh no, you can't handle this. You see the eye contact?
Yeah.
I'm flirting versus, or even if I go like this, right? So where are you from, or how was your day? Versus, how was your day? Now that's if now, oh, he's flirting with me. Because women are super intelligent like that. So, one thing I'm gonna call out your eye contacts today, right? So are you really like, are you really like, are you just staring, not staring, but really like locking in? Second nonverbal, it is the smirk. Now, not smile, but smirk. If you Google George Clooney, he's famous for this, right? And the smirk is a half smile. And the mentality is, like you could be like, there's a mentality of, I know your dirty little secret, but I'm not gonna say anything. Or like I want you to have that thought, or have the thought and be like, I know your secret, but I'm not gonna say anything. Or I know you want me, but I'm not gonna say anything. Even look at my mouth as I say it. Half my smile goes up, and it's like, oh, you're one of those reject Jamaicans. You're one of those reject Jamaicans, aren't you? Versus, oh, you're one of those reject Jamaicans. You see the difference? For today, fellas, let's keep it simple. Let's just be playful. If you can work these in, that's fine. But yeah. Lastly, it is touch. Now, touch is important. I'm just very clear on touch. Of course, we want to touch appropriately. We want to feel her out, and we do not want to cross boundaries or anything like that. All right, so I'm not, so let's definitely be respectful. But this is essentially how I go about touching. So then in that case, Michael, would you join me, por favor, up here on stage if you're cool with it? All right. So,
Sorry.
all right. All right, you're good. So stand here, please. Okay, so let's say we're talking, okay? So improper touch, like let's say we just started. Improper touch would be like, hey, how are you going? How are you doing? It's like, you see how we move back, right? And also, this is too much. I'm invading. And may I, before we start, right, great. But when we're talking, right, I like to think about it as a ladder. We've heard this before, the escalation ladder. And so step one like this, right, is that when you start touching, use the back of your hand from your knuckles to your fingertips. And then you're going to touch from the elbows to the shoulders. That's how you start. So it looks like this. And then you do it when you are emphasizing something. So if I would be like, oh, you're one of those reject Jamaicans. You smile, you see the effect, as opposed to, you're one of those reject Jamaicans, versus, to kick it up a notch, oh, you're one of those reject Jamaicans, huh? And really just touching and let it go. And then if I'm telling a story, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta tell you this one thing. Or, wait, you live in California? Listen, when I went over there, have you ever been to this place called the Edison? No, everybody, this guy right here, he's like, you see the touching? It's sporadic and it's timed with my speech. So that, right? And the other thing I'm doing, I'm not looking at it either. I'm not like, hey, yeah, that brings attention to it, makes it creepy, and it doesn't linger. I'm like, hey, da. So I want you guys to get comfortable with initiating touch with people. Now, I know touch is a sensitive subject, right? But with everything we're talking about, especially the way you're giving value, and in this way, it's done in a receptive way. Now, I was gonna say it again. Now, in all my time, and so you just want to be that guy just casual like this, because it looks like you're just telling a story. Now, in all my time, there's only been one time when someone was like, don't do that. One time. And it was actually a dude. It was a 5'6" dude who had a complex at a bar in LA, okay? But even then, even if that happens, I was like, okay, cool, no, my bad. And then just keep going forward. That's what you gotta do, like, okay, cool, my bad. Don't be like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, all right, and then keep going forward. That's what you gotta do. Simple as that. So then, boom. And so we're gonna talk about escalation a bit. So now once we get into like advanced flirting, but long story short, then what you wanna do is, as it goes on and you see whether or not they're receptive. So I saw Michael's like slightly smile, which tells me he's receptive to it. Cool, so I'm gonna repeat again. And then I'm going to continue to escalate a little bit further. So then I'm gonna go from this So I'm gonna go like, yeah, then the fingertips, not the palm. It's creepy. It's again fingertips. Right now I'm going the shoulder. Right? I'm gonna go on the shoulder. I'm gonna go, yeah, like this. Or I may go, no, that's crazy, right? Let me show you something. Let me see your hand. That's a form of touch. Or I'd be like, yeah, so nice to meet you. Or you are the most annoying person I've ever met. But I love it. right. But see, but even that's touch, right? Now we started. So again, he was receptive to that. So what that tells me, I can move up to another ladder and then be like, listen, this person right here. You see it. I don't know if you noticed, but he leaned into me a little bit. He went a little bit like this. This is stuff that you'll notice the more you do it, the little micro expressions or micro behaviors. But I was like, see this guy right here? I'm gonna kick him out of the club. Or I'm gonna be like, I love him. I'm marrying him. I don't care. I don't care what it looks like. I'm married, right? But then, because then I built it up, and then obviously I'm gonna talk about it in a second as far as like getting more advanced. But then the more deeper and heavier the flirting goes, the more you increase the touch. So then, like Lance, you got to a point where you were able to put your hand around her throat. There'll be other time where you'll be able to hug her, hold her hands, put it like that, and that builds it. Does that make sense? So do we understand? Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
So do we understand touch? Do we understand?
Yeah.
Does it make sense? So these are the nonverbals that also communicate. And this is actually super important as well because you can talk, right? But there's still a little bit of that air of plausible deniability, which is great, right? Plausible deniability. But like I said, we want to be active. Otherwise, we're that nice guy. You want to be active. Like Michael, like I remember you mentioned one of the things like, generating that attraction. How often are you doing these things?
Probably not often. Probably like the touch, but not as like escalating. I think I escalate up to the dance. Like
The dance, yeah.
Like I spin them.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Or like I just tap their like shoulder. That's pretty much it, but like not like escalating.
We need to go up because let's say we're dancing, right? One thing that I would do, like if you want to escalate the dance, you spin her, bring her close, and you put your arms on her lower back.
Okay, spin her and then pull her close.
Yes.
Okay.
So one thing. So you spin her,
Yeah.
right? So she turns around, and then you just take a step closer to her, put your hands up her back, and then drop it away. So that act right there is actually kind of sensual. Your hands running up her back, right? Or when you are spinning her, what I like to do, I like to spin her, put my hand on her waist, and I like to, and then I'll stop her, turn the other way, and then I'll take her hands and I'll put it around my neck. And then another thing that I'll do is put her around my neck and I'll take my hand on her lower back, bring her closer, and have her this way. And so, so one thing you could do, right? So this is a great way to do it, and it comes from bachata, where it's non-sexual, where you bring her close, but instead of being pelvis to pelvis, you are off center. So that way, your legs between her leg and her legs between yours. You're not groin to groin. You're not genitalia to genitalia. You are like this, and so boom. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's how like an escalation sort of move, of getting closer. So like, what would be like more escalating sort of move? So it sounds like with your side, like that just sounds friendly dancing. But if you want to escalate, bring it in. Now, here's the key part that prevents you from being like, this is too much. The mistake that guys make, they'll escalate and then they'll stay there. But just like the approach, what you want to do is that you want to, like this, you want to escalate and then leave it. Escalate and then leave it. So when you are dancing with her, right, and you bring her close to you, don't stand like this for the rest of the song. Because like, all right, that's creeper and, he just took advantage of the moment. But it creates safety and trust when you, now let you go. Now we're back here. I gave you a high, let you go. Okay, no, maybe he's not creepy, and I feel comfortable with that. And you're still having fun. And then next time when you go again, just like the conversation, when you re-engage, now it's a little bit more receptive. And then you may be, and depending on her reaction, like if you see that she's stiff, she pulls away, respect that, go back down. Hey, we're dancing here. If you see that she moves in closer to you, maybe she puts her hand on the back of your head, maybe you feel her squeeze, I'm gonna escalate a little bit more. I'm not talking about boobs, nothing like that. Let's not get sexual. Now again, the art of playing. We haven't talked about sexual yet, but basic, when you're dancing with her or you're doing any type of thing, you're not going like, Does it make sense? So, and those are the nonverbals. So, pretty simple. Lastly, what I have here is, I'm gonna go over 2 more things, then we're gonna do a little practice before we go out to the, I'm gonna teach 2 more things, we're gonna do a quick little practice, and then we're gonna head out to the pool party. Okay? So, number 1, how do you know it's working? How do you know your flirting is working? Right? Because how you know? You know your flirt. Her name is Jean something. She's an not anthropologist, sociologist, and scientifically proved like these are the signs of flirt. And use the acronym HOTAPE. HOTAPE. Now what I'm about to explain. Think about Michael last night when we were talking, when I was talking. Think about your successes, right? H, humor. They laugh at their jokes and they joke back with you. Did that happen when you were in the pool? Okay, we checked that mark. Next, open body language. Open body language. Meaning, they go from talking like this to, oh, you're so fun. Did that happen, Lance? Did they face you?
Yeah.
Okay. T, touch. They start touching you. And they're receptive to your touch.
Yeah, there's a lot of touching.
Okay. Next, attention. Attention. With everything else going on, who were they paying attention to the most? Were they looking around or were they like with you?
Yeah.
Okay. Next, proximity. Proximity means closeness, and it could be viewed one of 2 ways. Proximity means is that they either get, as you're talking, they get really close to you like this. Or B, you say, all right, I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll see you later. You go to the other side of the bar, but somehow they're in your same vicinity. You go to another side like, yo, why is she there again? Yeah. People do that so like, oh, so you could be seen and noticed. So that's proximity.
That's subconsciously or they do that consciously?
Maybe both, I guess. Maybe both, yeah. I mean, I think we subconsciously get closer to the people that we like. So yeah. So like yesterday, did they get close to you? Like enough to the personal space? Beautiful. Lastly, it is, like I said, eye contact. Meaning, is she giving you just the pleasant eyes like this? Oh, hey, yeah. Or she's like this. Did you get that too?
Yeah.
You had attraction. You have flirting. So one is great, but obviously the more you get these, the stronger it is.
So wait, I had attraction. That was.
Yeah, you were flirting. Flirting achieved. Flirting successfully achieved. If I were you, then you're ready to hit this checkpoint, right? Let me do this. This is how you know to go to the next checkpoint. Ready?
Hold on. You talking about next checkpoint? How did I get to this checkpoint?
You were doing it. All the flirting, all the playful you were doing, oh, you're a freak, and all the laughing, you were doing it. And you were doing some of the flirting. You were joking. You were saying, hey, you're a freak, which is sexual innuendo. You were playing with them. That play triggered these things.
Okay.
Not make sense?
Yeah.
I'm just in disbelief that he did it.
Is that what it is? You're in disbelief?
Yeah,
Bro, it's human psychology. You know how like you push a button, the elevator goes up.
Yeah.
You push a button, the vacuum cleaner turns on.
Yeah.
Right? If I say, Lance, Lance, you're sexy like a chocolate strawberry, and then I see a smirk. I push the button.
Yeah.
That was an emotional weight button. So this is how we can get repeat results. Attraction is not an accident. It's actually a skill, and it's a series of process that the result is attraction. The byproduct is attraction, which is why, like I said, if I want to make you smile, I'm gonna say something with emotional weight. Okay, rather than be again, the art of play. Instead of being like, Lance, where are you from? All right, how can I push a button to get an emotional reaction out of him? I'm gonna say something playful. Lance, you look like you're from a random place like Rhode Island. You look like you're like you look like you look like from Arkansas. Boom, I triggered something. You see how this works? So we can trigger that in people. It's not an accident. So if you're talking to a woman and you're like, all right, I want to make her like me, in your head, start saying playful responses. Make sense?
Yeah.
So I don't know if this helps, but this is to help you know when to move on. So let's go phase 0. Phase 0 as far as warm up. How do you know when you're ready? When you're in flow and confident. You know, that's how you know when you're ready. You go to phase 1, where you start talking to people. So opening. So how you know you're ready when to move on? When you hit the hook point. When people start giving you long, engaged answers. That means once people start long, engaged answers, in your mind, it should be checkpoint complete, time to move on to the next one. Like that's how my mind works. Once you reach a checkpoint, time to move on. No need to stay there. Because if you stay there, it will stall out. You, as the guy, and part of the dance attraction, you need to progress the conversation. Which is why, like I said, you have the effect of going, where are you from? You didn't take it anywhere. So, phase 2, which is the mid-game, right? Flirting and shit like that. How do I know? Once I get hot ape. Once I get hot ape. Once I get these in my head, like I'm gonna keep talking to you until I get these. All right? Which means this can happen almost like this. There's no time limit. When I was with Michael, this happened nearly instantaneously, which can happen. Other times, like the woman that we saw in line, we have to build it up. So the thing is not like what time, is like as long as it takes to hit this. That means you keep telling stories. You keep doing displays of excellence. You keep throwing playful responses until you get this. And if you have to, leave, come back, re-engage until you get this. Once you get this, check mark. No need, you can stop flirting and just go straight into phase 3, which is invite. So if I were you, Lance, once you had this, I would have been like, either A, yo, come take a walk with me real quick, or be like, yo, I'm seeing you again tonight. All right, give me your number. I'm seeing you again tonight. So no need to stay flirting because then it just stalls out. It doesn't go anywhere. And then invite, obviously, if she says yes, then, well,
So
yay.
each phase you don't want to like stay.
No.
The phase that you actually like kind of stay in a little bit is the warm up phase to get yourself going.
Yeah, take as long as you need to get going.
The other phase is the objective is to reach checkpoint, gets to the next phase.
Yes.
Checkpoint gets to the next phase.
Yes.
On phase 1 through 3, those could be used or are encouraged to be used during the dates as well, the following dates.
We're not talking about dates. As far not to keep it simple, not talk about dates. That's a whole different conversation. Don't want to overwhelm people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, which set did you, from yesterday, which one did you notice it was hot take? Was it the girl in the dress when we were walking the streets, or just?
When I noticed the hot ape,
Yeah.
when we were in Click.
Oh, and click.
Yeah. So,
Which one was it?
so remember the two women, the one that were like, yo, hook up with my friend,
Yeah.
right? And the one that I gave a hug to before we left.
Yeah.
So, so immediately, this is what I noticed. So when we passed by, one, open body language, she turned and started dancing towards me. She was with her friend. She saw me. She was like, started dancing towards me. That's the first checkpoint in my hand. Boom. Second, even though it was funny, it was me, Michael, her, but she was paying attention to me. Attention.
Wait, so again?
So let's say it was me, Michael, and the woman. And we were like in a group of people. So it was me, Michael, the woman, and like 3 friends. She was looking at me, paying attention to me. So boom, I had attention.
Or feet towards you.
Yes.
Towards
So I had attention. And then I think I made a joke or something like that. Or she tried to joke with me, right? She tried to make it like about the song, something like that. She tried to joke with me. Humor, checked off. So we have 3 out of the 6. And by the way, again, don't wait to get all 6 in my book, depends how bold you're feeling, but get at least 3, maybe 4. That's enough of the odds that you'll be good. But anyway, so what else? So she gave me attention. Boom. Open body, like humor, eye contact. Whenever I talked with her, she gave me those eyes. And then lastly, to solidify before I left, because it was like her birthday, I'm like, I'm gonna give you a birthday hug. And that hug wasn't just oh bye. It was she leaned into it and held on. All 6 checkpoints checked off. And so attraction achieved. Flirting complete. Make sense? Okay, so really quickly, advance. So advance, it's very similar, honestly. Advanced flirting is honestly, don't worry about this, but you actually did this yesterday. Yeah, so advanced flirting, Michael, this is for you too. Advanced, so once you achieved hot ape, right? And you're like, I want to kick it up a notch. Like, this is just regular flirting, now I want to kick it up a notch. Essentially, advanced or level 2. Okay. Level 2 flirting is more sexual. This is where you tell her what you find sexy, talk sexual topics, and more intimate touch. So, so for example, let's take I'm from Jamaica, right? Or let's take, for example, I'm from Nova Scotia and I want to take it up a notch. My type of response is elevated now. Now it would be like, I would say something like, oh, I would like, so you guys like to cuddle in the winter, don't you guys? To keep warm, huh? I'm talking, right? I'm making more sexual, like innuendos. Another thing you can be like, by the way, you have amazing lips. So what were you saying?
Sexual topics?
No, tell her what you find sexy. Tell her what you find sexy. Yeah. About her. So it would be like as the conversation is going, you'd be like, by the way, yes, like your lips are captivating. Or you should say your lips are sexy. Anyway, what you were saying, keep it going. To talk about sexual topics, one of my favorite things to do, it's a little bit of a routine of mine, is to be like, and I've told you guys this before, I don't think Michael's heard it though, but I'd be like, there's an example of talk about sexual topics. Like when I'm talking about, don't be like, oh, what's your favorite sexual position? What's your favorite position? You talk about sexual topics, like you talk about the weather. Like for example, people ask me like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, so I'm a men's dating coach. And it's really cool because I get to meet a lot of people. Like one of the people that I meet, he's actually a sexologist. And one thing he taught me is something that I call the sexual blueprint, where everybody, they have like a different sexual personality, a different blueprint for what turns them on. Here, like for example, one people are like, let me see your arm. One person's like this, the other person's like this, the other person's like this. And as I'm doing that, I'm touching their arm and I'm demonstrating it. And so it's a lot of subtext going on. Another example would be like, for example, talk about smut books. You're talking about sex. So you're not being like, oh, those stories just make me want to touch my nipples and just put some strawberries and honey on my chest. And let the turtle lick it off my nipples. And so, all right. But even then, I made a joke. So as opposed to, do you like your hair pulled? You know, how you like no. Now you talk about like no, it's funny, like, so one of my favorite like literature like 50 Shades of Grey and smut books. Now you're talking about the topic of sex. And the beautiful part about that is that talking about it plants the seed. We start to get turned on because we're talking about it. So you talk about sexual topics. So for you, Michael, again, so I would say that actually no, when I was in Japan, I think it comes from Japan, but there's an erotic rope practice called harabi, or I forget the name, it escapes me. But like, and it was fascinating because X, Y, and Z, and I saw how you could actually find like pleasure out of just rope tying, and I thought it was crazy. We talk about it, and she's like, oh, really, ropes? And I'm like, yeah, no, that's crazy. Like, all right, like, you ever tried that? Okay, no, like, blah, blah, bam, bam, bam. So you see what I'm getting at? What I'm getting at? But again, as you're talking about this, it's like this, Michael. It's like this, it's like, well, you learn about rope tying and how erotic it can be. I'm not like, yeah, no, I was in Japan and they did an erotic rope tying class versus, it was exotic, right? And it was rope tying, how you can find pleasure and stuff like that. What do you think? You get me? And as far as more intimate touch, this is when, obviously you've achieved rapport, but intimate touch is more where like instead of the shoulders, now you could be like, hey, listen.
Ooh.
Right here. You could touch the stomach, lower back.
I get that.
There you go.
I was fucking doing it.
There you go. So now the touch becomes more intimate. So that, Michael, it requires you to actually push that envelope. Once you have those green lights, you have to be the one to initiate. You can't be timid about it. And obviously, she will tell you if she's into it or not. Okay? So and again, my recommendation is always do like a touch and go sort of thing. So if I'm gonna touch the face, like number one, I'm doing it because I've already established that she trusts me. I'm not gonna touch her face if I have not established that. But if I do it, I'm gonna go like this, and then just quickly just take it off. Again, that give and go is what makes it safe and also creates desire. It's different if I'm go like this, and I just keep it on there, as opposed to, okay, I'm done, get off me. Here for me, right? Or if I wanted to and if you touch a woman's stomach, again, you'll be like, you'll never believe what. You see the reaction? And by the way, if a woman touches your stomach, it's on. That's an intimate. If she talks to you and she's like, hey, or we should do this, touch your stomach, very high interest. Does that make sense, Michael?
Yeah.
Right. And so, again, you have to do that escalating. You have to be the bold one to lead. Otherwise, if you're passive, you're just that friend that ain't going nowhere. And you're missing out on an opportunity where she might want to jump your bones. And so, okay. So, real quick. No, hold on. Real quick. So, so the hips, stomach, the legs, maybe you rub your hand on her leg like that. You'd be like, ooh, smooth. And then just take it off. And be like, oh, you do squats, don't you? Or you do Pilates, I like that. And then take it off. That's a more advanced touching. Last notes that I have here, you can, anyway, yeah. Don't make sexual comments about her. Ask her for what she thinks about sexual topics. So instead of being like, yo, what's your favorite position? Versus, well, what do you think about the people that, like they like to get tied up and feel pleasure from that? What do you think about? Now we're talking about sexual topics. And this doesn't make sense. Time to practice. Make sense? All right, so we got about 30 minutes or so. Let's take a quick little 5-10 minute break, and so that way I can get set up, and then you guys can review notes. And what we're gonna do, we do a couple role play. We're just gonna have conversation, and you're just gonna practice playful response. So you're gonna pick the type of response that you like, and you're gonna pepper them in. Any questions so far, by the way? So it's you plus playful response. That's all you're doing. If I say, I gotta go to the bathroom, you playful response. What's a playful thing I can do to respond? And then again, it's the art of play. About to play with you. We're about to have fun. Don't overthink it. Just amuse yourself. And the more you do, again, the more you catch momentum and flow and state, the better it'll be. It's kind of hard to be funny or amuse yourself when you're just going cold. That's why we want to warm up again in state. Make sense? All right. So we'll be back in like 10.